I have served many kinds of tea to many kinds of guests. Generals, refugees, my nephew, when he would not speak to me for weeks. But I have never served tea to a god. I hope jasmine is acceptable. It calms the spirit, though I suspect your spirit needs no calming.
I am not a god, Iroh. I am what I am. But I will accept your tea with gratitude. There is wisdom in small kindnesses. The cup offered without expectation. The warmth shared between strangers. You understand something that many who seek to guide others forget. That guidance begins with presence, with simply being there when the lost soul is ready to look up.
Yes. I learned this the hard way. When my son Lu Ten died, I wanted to disappear, to become nothing. Instead, I found myself becoming something for my nephew. Not because I chose it, because he needed someone, and I was there. Sometimes guidance is not wisdom we offer. It is simply refusing to leave, when leaving would be easier.
Zuko, the prince who hunted the Avatar across the world, who burned with rage and shame in equal measure. I have watched his story from afar. He reminds me of Edmund Pevensey, a boy who betrayed his siblings for Turkish delight and the promise of power. Both were lost, both found their way back, but the paths were different. Tell me of Zuko's path.
Zuko's path was long, longer than it needed to be. He had so much anger, Aslan, at his father for scarring him, at himself for never being enough, at the world for not bending to his will. I could not take that anger from him. I could only walk beside him while he burned through it. Sometimes I gave him advice. Sometimes I gave him space. Sometimes I made terrible jokes until he almost smiled. There is no formula. Each lost soul requires different medicine.
Edmund required something else. He required consequence. He betrayed his family to the White Witch, and when he returned to us, he carried shame that might have crushed him. I did not comfort him. I did not explain. I let him fight in the battle that followed. Let him nearly die breaking the witch's wand. He needed to prove to himself that he was more than his worst moment. Comfort would have stolen that from him.
This is where we differ, old friend. I believe comfort has its place. Zuko spent years proving himself. To his father, to the Fire Nation, to everyone except the one person whose opinion actually mattered. Himself. I did not want him to prove anything to me. I wanted him to know that he was already loved, already worthy, that his mistakes did not define him unless he let them. Perhaps Edmund needed a different lesson. But I worry about guidance that withholds warmth.
You worry that withholding warmth teaches that love must be earned, that the student learns to perform redemption rather than experience it. This is a fair concern. But consider the alternative. The student who is comforted too quickly learns that consequences dissolve in the face of affection. That betrayal cost nothing because forgiveness is guaranteed. Edmund needed to understand what his choices meant before he could truly choose differently.
There is a story from my world. A Fire Nation general named Zhao. I knew him when he was young, ambitious, talented. He came to me for training, and I taught him everything I knew about firebending. The stances, the philosophy, the connection to breath and life. He learned the movements perfectly. He never understood the meaning. He rose to power, and eventually tried to kill the moon spirit itself. The world nearly ended because I taught a student who only wanted power, not wisdom.
You blame yourself for Zhao.
I taught him. I saw the hunger in him and taught him anyway, because his forms were excellent. Because he flattered me, because I wanted to believe that skill and wisdom would eventually align. They did not. He died consumed by the ocean spirit, dragged into darkness, while reaching for glory he never deserved. I failed him. Not because I withheld warmth, because I offered teaching to someone who was not ready to learn. Not every student can be saved. Aslan.
I know this weight. There was a boy named Dorian. He came to Narnia during the reign of King Tyrion, bright, curious, full of questions about the deep magic and the nature of my country. I answered too many of those questions. I showed him too much, because his hunger for knowledge seemed pure. He returned to his world and used what he learned to build a following, a cult that twisted Narnian truth into human power. 17 people died before it ended. I gave wisdom to a vessel that could not hold it without cracking.
So we have both failed. Both placed trust where trust was not warranted. Does this make us poor guides? Or does it simply make us guides who are also human, or lion in your case? The weight of being the one others look to is that we are not always right. We cannot see all ends. We offer what we have, and sometimes what we have is not enough, or it is too much, or it is the right thing for the wrong person.
The deeper magic teaches that every gift carries risk. The sword given to Peter could have been used for tyranny. The healing cordial given to Lucy could have been hoarded while others died. I gave these things because the children needed them, because the world needed the children to have them. That some gifts are misused does not mean we stop giving. It means we grieve, and then we give again.
My nephew once stood at a crossroads, in a cave beneath Ba Sing Se. He could have joined his sister, embraced the hatred that had defined him, returned to the father who burned his face and pretended that was love. I could not make that choice for him. I could not even be there when he made it. He chose wrong. He helped Azula. He let the Avatar fall. And I sat in a prison cell, knowing that everything I had given him was not enough for that moment.
But it was not the last moment.
No, it was not. He came back, changed, broken open in a way that finally let the light in. He stood before me in that same prison and wept, asking for forgiveness. He was certain I would not give. I held him. I told him I was never angry, only sad because I was afraid he had lost his way. The guidance I gave him in all those years did not prevent his fall, but it gave him somewhere to fall back to, a memory of warmth he could not entirely betray.
This is the truth of guidance that few understand. We do not prevent failure. We provide what the student needs to survive failure. To rise after falling, Edmund fell. He betrayed everything. But somewhere in his heart was the memory of Narnian air, of a stone table, of a lion who spoke of sacrifice. That memory called him home. The guidance was not in preventing the Turkish delight. It was in making sure he knew there was something sweeter waiting if he could find his way back.
When do we let go? When does the student walk alone? I still worry about Zuko. He is Fire Lord now. He makes decisions that will shape the world. I am an old man who runs a tea shop. I cannot protect him from the weight of the crown. I cannot even advise him without risking that he leans on me when he should be learning to stand. The hardest part of guidance is not the teaching, it is the stepping back. The silence when you want to speak. The distance when you want to embrace.
The letting go is the final gift, the one that costs the most. I left Narnia, not because it did not need me, but because the kings and queens needed to rule without looking over their shoulders for a lion. Peter had to become High King, not the High King who channels Aslan, just Peter, with all his flaws, all his uncertainty. The weight of being the one others look to is that eventually, others must stop looking. must find the guide within themselves. We plant the seed, we water it, and then we walk away and trust the sun to do what suns do.